Welcome into Carpooling with Ben, folks. If you've ever wanted to meet a champion, then look no further than the gentleman sitting in my car right here, Mr. Scott Cordischi, sir, of the Brown University Brown Bears, and more importantly, the Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses Extra Point Football Show, which takes place most Mondays, some Tuesdays.
Yes.
Over at Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses in Attleboro. Scott?
So if you really want to meet a true champion,
yes,
come to Cardi's on Monday nights.
Oh, there you go.
And you can meet a world champion New England Patriot. It's much.
It's the greatest deal going. And how much does it cost, Scott?
Zero.
Yeah, we should have, was that Neil Warner? 0.0.
Mr. Blutarski.
Absolutely. But this show has been going on for a while. You and I worked on it for a while when I was over at Cardi's full-time. The show continues. It's been over 10 years. Talk to me a little bit about the show that you run there.
Well, it's really a great thing for Patriot fans, and you know Cardi's, how active they are in their community, and this is just another way, in my opinion, that Cardi's kind of gives back to their community. Everybody loves the Patriots in New England, pretty much,
sure,
right?
Yep.
And this gives you an opportunity, if you're a Patriots fan, to come on down to Cardi's and listen to a half-hour show that is broadcast on Facebook Live and on 103.7 FM WEEI.
Yep.
You get to watch the show, and then when the show is over with, you get to meet the player, get a signed picture with his autograph, and a lot of times these guys are great. They'll take pictures with you there as well after.
Right.
So it's just a great opportunity for Patriot fans to come down, meet a Patriot player, and learn a little bit about them.
It's a different kind of interview. Obviously, you are you're a sports guy, you're a stats guy. You've obviously been in the broadcast industry in this area for the last over 20 years. I mean, you started when you were, what, 7?
Yeah, pretty much.
But you conduct a different kind of interview. Yeah, you'll talk about the stats, but you also talk about their lives off the field and what's important to them.
Yeah, we try to get into that, and I try to have fun with them too. You know, we had Ted Karras on last week, and we did some fun stuff with him. You know, what's your favorite pig out food? What's your favorite restaurant? All this type of stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, we can talk about the game, what you think of the Buffalo Bills defense, right? But then after a while, everybody watched the game. They know. So let's learn something different about these guys. Let's have fun with them. Let's bring out their personalities. Let's find out what makes them tick. And I really think they enjoy it as well because they're so used to talking football to the media on a daily basis. To do something like this, I think is relaxing and fun for them as well.
Yeah. Past guests have included the GOAT himself, Mr. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Way back in the day before he was officially the GOAT. But also, we got to let our friends go by here, the Providence PD. Go get them, guys. But also, like Matthew Slater. We've had, I think back in the day, Russ Hoskins and all these other guys that would come on and they'd talk about their nonprofit efforts and their charity work as well. So it's good to see that that whole story that makes the player.
Yeah, it's been kind of a great and unique guest list that we've had too. I mean, we've had, like you said, some big names and guys that were big names when we had them. Other guys we had before they became household names, right? Like you mentioned, Tom Brady before he was the GOAT. Yep. Who would have thunk it, right?
Yeah,
back then that he'd turn out to be the greatest quarterback in NFL history, and
it's amazing.
Of course,
he is.
Also,
a tight end or wide receiver. What did he play there? Gronk
guy?
Gronkowski?
Yes.
Gronkowski, yeah.
Gronk. Boy, it'd be nice to see him back in the
I know,
uniform,
absolutely. That'd be fun. Well, hey, you never know, right? You never know what the old Belichick is hiding up
I
his
wouldn't
sleeve
completely rule it out, but I'm one of those guys that I think he's retired.
But it was great having him. We've actually had his brothers. We've had so many different players. But coming up, we've got an awesome schedule coming up. If you want to start, who do we have coming up next on the Hit Parade?
Well, so this coming Monday, Joejuan Williams, who was their second-round draft pick, a defensive back out of Vanderbilt, he'll be our guest. Matt LaCosse, who's a tight end for the Patriots, will be another one of our guests coming up in mid-October. Later on in the month, Deatrich Wise, pretty good defensive end for the team. He'll be a guest of ours. I'm told that Patrick Chung may be joining us too sometime this year. That'll be great to talk to Patrick Chung. He's had such a great career with the Patriots. And another tight end on the roster too, Ryan Izzo, is going to be our guest. So those are just some of the guys that we plan on having on this year.
Stephen Gostkowski recently went on injured reserve. He's having hip surgery. He's been a guest a number of times. And, he's such a mild-mannered, I want to say kid, but young man, and was always a fun interview. And I remember him just talking with the fans and everything. So we obviously wish him the best as he goes through the surgery and that process of healing there.
Yeah, it's pretty evident why he was struggling and missing some extra points earlier this season. He's just too good a kicker to be missing that many. Yeah. And we now know that he had a hip problem and he's having surgery to correct that problem. So we certainly wish him the best. James Devlin, another guy that we've had on many times, and
there you go.
Former Brown Bear. He was a defensive end in college, not a fullback, a defensive end. And boy, he was mean. He was good. And he has become, I think, kind of a cult hero amongst Patriot fans. I think a lot of Patriot fans love him. And what's not to love? If you heard when he went on injured reserve, did you hear Bill Belichick talk about him? Bill Belichick tosses out compliments like manhole covers. Right. He doesn't throw them out too often.
Sure.
He spoke glowingly of James Devlin and what type of teammate and player he is.
He in that press conference, I won't forget, he almost seemed, look, injuries happen. It's part of the game. You've seen it working and being part of the media. But Bill really, he almost felt like, he almost looked dejected a little bit and really taken back by that injury. He felt genuinely sorry.
Well, that's because Jimmy is the hardest worker I've ever seen. And that goes back to his days at Brown University. And when he had free time, he'd be in the weight room lifting weights. In fact, I don't know if you know this, when he was in college, he was the strongest player on the team, but he is the strongest player on the Patriots. When you combine the 3 lifts that they do, the bench press, the squat, and the power clean, nobody lifts more than James Devlin. And you're talking about some big offensive and defensive linemen.
Sure.
He's a strong kid, but he's just a great guy. Even Matthew Slater. How many times has Matthew Slater been in the Pro Bowl? He called him by far the best teammate he's ever had.
Yeah.
And this guy's been teammates with Tom Brady for all these years.
Exactly. Well, there's certainly a great culture up there, and it's cool that this show, brings that culture, or a piece of that culture, down to South Attleboro there in the community room at the Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses location. And, if you're a sports collector, if you're the person that just goes and stands outside the stadium just to get the autographs and everything, this might not be the best show for you to attend and look for an autograph. But if you are a family, if you've got young kids, and let's face it, it's an expensive investment to go up to the stadium for a game. This here, you're going to be in the same room as a player. This is a perfect. It's not too late at night. I mean, you can still make bedtime.
No, 7 to 7:30.
I mean, that's perfect right there. So have some supper. Come on over to Cardi's in South Attleboro. Again, October 7th, 14th, the Tuesday night, the 22nd, and November 4th is what they have right now on the Facebook page. If you go, you find the Facebook page, follow them.
Right.
And come hang out. First 100 people get a free photograph.
Yeah. It's really a great time. It really is. And if by chance you can't make it to Cardi's, you can always listen to it on the radio.
Sure.
And you can watch it on Facebook Live. We encourage you to do that as well.
Absolutely. Share it with your friends. Folks, tune in. It's the Extra Point Football Show presented by Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses. And Scott Cordischi, as always, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. How the Brown Bears looking this year?
You know what? We're 1-1. Big game this weekend against Rhode Island. A battle for the Governor's Cup. So there's a piece of hardware, a trophy at stake.
Very good.
We have a new head coach, James Perry, who played quarterback here at Brown. In fact, he led the team to an Ivy League championship in 1999. There's a lot of enthusiasm around this program right now. They're building something, right?
Sure.
They're on the ground floor, but they're going in this direction.
Well, let's see if the coach can bring back another championship. That'd be great. And good luck to the Brown Bears. And we will see you at the Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses Extra Point Football Show.
See you there.